I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.
Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. Today I was going to go into the great resets of human history. And as I was doing the research on that, it ultimately actually put me in another spot. So I'm going to come back to this and all the timeline of all the known resets in history, and not only what they all were and when they happened, but also who was blamed, what was blamed, or what multiple things does history or the people that were left who wrote what they wrote, what did they say? However, I was going to do that, and I was also thinking about talking to you about the mega data centers in the United States and looking at the map here and going over what is actually going on here, where this is leading, which all of this is all tied together. As you can see, the green dots are existing, yellowish or orange dots are under construction, and blue are proposed. And most of what you see is blue and orange that are proposed. And also look at like how many acres they're taking up, how much water, like they're using, they will be using approximately 6.6 billion gallons of water a day to run these data centers. But something happened and it sent me down another trail. And I'm going to take you down that trail today. And it really blew my mind. There's a reason why each one of these images are here, and you're going to find out. And I'm going to explain them to you. I'm going to explain to you what the truth behind the Q is. I'm going to explain to you what the truth is behind the storm, and what the truth is behind the red hat and the red face, or orange or reddish face. And no, it ain't because he can't afford good makeup people. I'm going to explain to you the truth behind this shield and the golden tipped spear or arrow in his hand. I'm going to explain where all that comes from and what it means, as to who he is, what his bloodline is. I'm going to explain all that to you, and also explain to you why Baron Trump is now 6'9" tall. Yeah. And if you think that you can guess where this is going, I think it's going places that even I didn't suspect it would go. Because in order to understand this, we've got to go back somewhere else. We've got to go back to the Bible and look at bloodlines and look at some things that you wouldn't expect me or anyone to be looking at when it comes to talking about Esau's descendants. Okay. Let's mark that one so I don't forget it. And let's go back to Genesis 25:21. Now, if you're not a Bible reader, just look at this as a history book. And yes, there's things in here that may be incorrect. And as a matter of fact, I know there's things that's been changed. But we want to look at the birth of Esau and Jacob in order to understand where we are today. We got to go back to the past, way back, in order to understand where we are today. Now, I'm not going to say everything I'm saying as I go through this is absolute fact. It's at a minimum high suspicion. We could call it theory, maybe. But let's look at what does Esau, the hairy man that was born to Isaac and Rebekah in the Bible, and along with Jacob, another child that was in the womb at the same time. If you're bored and you're here for entertainment, this is probably about when you need to leave. But you're going to miss something that is, I don't know how to say how important it is to consider this, to consider what I'm going to show you. Okay, now. Okay, so Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, okay? And Isaac prayed, and it says he entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. The children struggled together in her womb like they were fighting. Okay. The Lord said unto her, she was wondering about, why is this fighting going on in my womb? She was praying and asking God. And the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in thy womb. That means 2 completely different bloodlines of people. Just look up the definition of nation. It may not be exactly what you think it is because of what you've experienced in your life as to what the word nation means. It says 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, meaning 2 different manners of people shall come out and be born. Not through like identical twins or even twins, okay? It's like they had 2 different fathers or something. And it says, 1 people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So 1 shall be stronger, and 1 shall serve the other. Now, when the birth started happening, okay, it says, and the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. So he was red and hairy, and they called him Esau. The word Esau means, the definition is red, okay? So he had red hair across his entire body, and he was stronger than the other one. As they grew up, he became a mighty hunter, this kind of thing. After that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. Okay? The boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents, just an average white dude or Israeli dude, or just a normal kind of person that doesn't have fur and isn't a mighty hunter, go out and do what mighty hunters do. Okay? And the story continues to go on. There was a point where Jacob seen Esau come running in from the field, from the woods and so on, and he was faint. Now, if you go back to let me grab it here. If you go back to and look at the book of Jasher, the book of Jasher, chapter 27, okay? you'll figure out some other things about why Esau come running in and was faint. He was wore out from battle. Okay. According to the book of Jasher, Esau, the red hairy man that was very, very large in stature, he was out fighting Nimrod and had killed Nimrod, cut his head off. Okay. And that's in the book of Jasher. Jasher is not part of one of the books that the Catholic Church put in what we know as the Bible, or what we've been told since we were children that was the Bible. Okay. He cut off Nimrod's head, and then he turned and killed several other people somehow. Okay. And so let's go back up here to Esau. And I wanted to, because I also know that, Esau ends up selling his birthright, because Esau was supposed to be the one that he was firstborn. Okay. So therefore, he was going to receive the birthrights and everything that he had coming. Okay. But he ended up coming out first, and then he ended up selling his birthright. Okay. And I wanted to look as to the genealogy more and see who, because I had this theory going in my head that I was wondering about, that these words that kept echoing in my head. And so I started looking into the generations of Esau. It says, who is Edom? The generations of Esau, who is Edom? So who is Edom? It becomes a question. And who were they? And so on. So it goes on to talk about Esau took wives of the daughters of Canaan, like the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Hivites. Okay. And of these wives, they started bearing children. Okay. Eliphaz, Reuel, and Abholabah, if that's how you pronounce it, bear Jewish, and also Jalem and Korah. Okay. And all this sounds, I remember years and years and years ago, I would read this stuff and I'd go, what does this have to do with anything? But now I understand what it has to do with anything. It says that in the land of Canaan, that's where they were at, and they went out into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. So he left Jacob behind, and they went into the land of Canaan. And Esau was dwelling in Mount Seir. And then it says again, Esau is Edom. So then I started looking further. Okay. Esau, the father of the Edomites, as it says right here. This is all biblical text, Genesis 36:9. And there was a point here. Let's see, where is it? Because I'm looking at all the different children that they had and what their names were. And I'll spare you with reading all of them. You can pause it and read it if you want to. But then you get down here, and at a point, I was checking some definitions. Like, all of a sudden it starts talking about the word duke, and it starts referencing these men as, or these sons of Esau basically, as dukes. And you look up Duke, and what you find. What you find is where it says Duke. Let's see if I can roll it up so you can see a little bit better. It talks about someone who is more gentle or being more tame, although very masculine. And so a chieftain, like a captain or a friend or maybe a governor or a guide. Okay. So they were more less like men of the woods, okay? They were more polished, you might say, is what the basics of what I get out of it. And they started calling them dukes. And then I was wondering and doing some research, looking about their religions. I wanted to know, okay, did they have any religions? And they do. They had a religion called Idumean, okay, the Idumean religion. It was the religion of the Dukes and of the Canaanites and the people in that area. And turns out it is a Edomite, Arabian, and Hellenistic beliefs, and it's centrally and primarily around the worship of a chief national god called Q. Yeah. Q. Okay. And I'm like, what? And then I start looking into that. And you start to find out that in that religion, Q is considered to be, another name for him is called Apollo. Apollo. You know, and Apollo is he's depicted as carrying a silver bow or golden arrows, okay, and is the master of the hunt and combat. And Apollo is also said to have power in both inflicting disease with his arrows, you know, things that penetrate the skin, and even heal the sick. And then it says, as the god, he's considered to be the god of prophecy and truth. And he would communicate this truth to his people. Okay, so let's look and see if we see anything here as we're looking at this. Now and some of you are going to laugh at some of this, and that's fine. Because some of this is theory or just things to make you go, I've always wondered why Trump would paint his face orange or reddish color. You know, red, like the word Esau. And Esau was just like the Bible says. Let me show it again here. Esau, who is Edom, of the Edomites, okay? And the word Esau means red. I always wondered, and this isn't coincidence enough, you're going to see a lot more here in just a minute, why he would do that. And also, why he has a red face, but he also chose the red hat. Is this symbolism for something? Absolutely it is, but is it what I'm talking about? Is it possible? So he can't afford a better makeup artist to do his makeup so it looks more natural. He intentionally wears a red or orangish face. The same with the hat. And their chief deity in the religion of the Edomites is Q. And Q is considered the master of the storm. And is also considered to be equal and the same as Apollo. And of course, we have all seen this stuff where everybody is, taking all this "we are Q" stuff. And you may think this is absolutely ridiculous, what I'm talking about here. And I'll just take that on me, okay? Because I don't. I've dedicated my life now almost going on 20 years is over 16 years now, trying to understand the things that are going on in this world and not just sit back and accept whatever it is. And I would say that I'm not far off here. Okay. So now I showed you, I think it was in my last video, that Mr. T here has in his golden layered floor in Trump Tower, you know, he has all these images of Apollo on the ceiling being led by Aurora. And he also has a painting of Apollo in his room being led by Aurora. Okay. And Apollo is also associated with being a god, like the sun god. Now, it says that he carries like golden arrows. This is called the Mar-a-Lago Trump coat of arms. Here's a depiction like of Apollo with a very familiar looking face. Here's another one showing you that I ain't just making this up. There it is on his golf cart, catching the tip of the spear. And of course, like I said, he does prophecy. He tells the truth, or he tells the truth that he wants to communicate to the mortals. Okay. And it just so happens that Trump has his own social platform called Truth. And everything in there, you know, how, for instance, how Trump went around saying that the media was fake, this was fake, this was fake, and then created Trump Social, Truth Social. He's even got a red face there too a little bit, don't he? I mean, are these things coincidences? For me, I always keep my mind willing to look at other things. But it cannot be ignored, these things. See, because what I'm kind of saying is that somehow Trump, here he is again with red face, see how he compares to the face of Barron, you know, white face. This is tying him at a minimum religiously, maybe genetically. See, because anyone that's over the height of like 6 foot is considered to be, I mean, look it up. It's like you're considered to be kind of like a giant, okay? Over 6 foot. Trump claims he's 6'2". I'm 6'2". So it's like he's tied somehow to giants genetically, maybe. And then I was like, well, Barron, you know, Barron is, he is apparently currently at least 6'9". Okay. It says Donald Trump's 6'3". I don't really believe that. But okay, whatever it is. But Barron being 6'9" and still growing? I mean, what is he, like 19 years old? He'll be 7 foot, if not more. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen there. Okay. Just happened to notice it says the White House claims Barron Trump is too tall at 6'9" for military service. Okay. Whatever. Now, again, I don't know for sure if this ties, okay? But there was someone else in biblical history that was red-faced. And you can kind of see it in the image here. This is called the mark of Cain. And it wasn't no more than a few weeks back. I was doing research in an area that was so outlandish, even more than what I'm talking about right now, that I never showed it to y'all guys yet. I was looking at the mark of Cain and trying to determine what kind of a mark would have God would have put on Cain. Okay. And would it be like a mark, like a little sign, like a tattoo? Would it be a physical attribute like being hairy? Or would it be a physical attribute like being red or something like? I don't know for sure exactly, but I just happened to notice and remember that someone else had a mark that was related to being red, apparently because Cain was said to be red-faced. Now, we assumed that maybe he was mad, but maybe that was the mark. And it was mistranslated, possibly. I'm not saying that's for sure the case, okay? I'm saying it's maybe, okay? So, where does this leave us? Well, it leaves us with a lot of questions. Because I've been speculating for quite a while and seeing lots of evidence that Trump sees himself as a deity. And if y'all guys can't see that, I mean, he's put out images of himself being Jesus, putting his hand on somebody's head, healing them, and doing these kind of things in a bombastic way. First off, if you have those kind of blessings where you can do that, you don't boast about it, okay? There'd be times in your life where you are sent to a situation or you find yourself in a situation where you can help somebody, but you don't boast about it and put images of yourself on your Truth Social platform. Lots of questions, right? Lots of questions. It's interesting, the depictions of Cain too is, and this may be just the way it worked out, but I notice he's always covering his face. You know, covering like his face or his forehead, like he was, you know, I guess people assumed the mark that was put on him was upon his face because it would be most recognizable, something that's upon your face or upon your forehead. And of course, the Revelations talks about another mark being upon the forehead, right? But I'm not so sure it's like a tattoo or something. It may be something more, even more obvious. Okay. Checking in on our enough is enough thing with Mr. T. And most of you know what the enough is enough is and what I'm referencing. The Illuminati playing card from 1995 that has depicted pretty much every event that's happened since then, including the people in the post offices back in the 90s going postal. Cards were printed in 95 and then in 96 people go postal and it depicted it. And the Twin Towers and the Pentagon being blown up by an airplane and all this stuff has been all depicted. And there's one that depicts Trump, that's enough is enough. And now they're going off big time with enough is enough. There was one more thing here. I think I was meant, this. Now here's Israel 365 News. And they're referring to Trump. It says Trump could initiate building of the third temple as head of Edom. Head of Edom means Esau. What is Edom? It means it's that bloodline. You see? I found this after I did all the other research. So Israel 365 News is calling Trump the head of Edom. I didn't do that. They did it. Okay. And I was reading on down here. I thought there was something I might want to show you. I mean, you can just Google that headline if you want to read this. You'll find it. Trump could initiate building of third temple as head of Edom. Okay. I would say, and I say this with humility, hopefully, I would say I'm getting close to really figuring out some big things. And who I have to thank for that is y'all guys. Okay. I've been so just buried in this research. I haven't even had time, or honestly, I haven't took time, because as soon as I got it together enough that I could present it to y'all guys, I just hit record and started going. So please forgive me once again. I have not been able to put together the supporters for the last couple of videos. And, but I can tell you that Diane M, David Q, Robert G, Christopher B, Kimberly G, Karen J, Daniel L, and Anonymous, and several other people, couple, have donated this month. And that is what allows me to have time to put together these kinds of things. And I've got tons of other things I'm working on. And this ain't all of it. I mean, you guys know I've been looking into the incoming UFO invasion. Aliens are coming as the fall guy kind of thing. You know, they also called the Operation Sky Eye that I've been doing. You know, I'm looking into the understanding of our world, WHIRLED. You know, I did a video for you explaining the 4 horses of the apocalypse and why doctors, nurses, scientists, and also, let's see, where'd it go? I lost one of my things. Oh, and scientists and pharmacists and dentists all went from wearing like dark regular clothes to wearing all white around the year 1900. And of course, at the same time, the White House was officially changed from being some other name to being the White House in the year 1901. And it's not that easy. And I'm working on The Secret of the Trees, the documentary, okay, because I am going to show and expose great, deep truths when it comes to the secret of the trees. And it's going to be quite the interesting journey. I've got a lot of information to go into you about that. Also, I'm working on the great resets of human history and looking at all the patterns and everything there as well. I do share these slides in my community tab. When I get them put together and everything, I do share them in my community tab. So if you're new, you know, subscribe and check out the community tab. And so, yeah, I'm working on a lot of other things, and all of it ultimately ties together. I know this, including the AI mega data centers and all this kind of stuff, because there's one goal that ultimately all of this leads to. But all of these are pieces, whether some of them be deceptions or actual pieces of the system that they're using in order to do this and pull this off. Okay? So, with that said, if you would like to support my work, the links are below. Either way, I love you. Father in heaven loves you. And we'll see you again real soon. I'm working my butt off with it. I love you. Bye-bye. For now.
I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.